You are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, Studio McGyver, and you are listening to Studio McGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the show, I want to say welcome, family. If you're into nerd culture, if you're into anime, video games, then you've come to the right place. We talk about all of that here. So let's begin, man. A lot going on. Well, a lot about to be happening. We have, Dragon Ball Super Chapter 57 of the manga, that just came out. A lot of things, man, I need to talk about in this said subject. Also, Street Fighter 5, man, shitty ass netcode. A lot of boo-boo out here in these digital streets. And, there's a lot of sales going on. I figured I'd talk a little bit about that. There are some dope sales, guys. Amazing fucking sales going on right now. And you guys need to check it out. I'm not sure about Xbox, but I am definitely going to give you guys some information on some PlayStation Store shit. And you might be able to find some use for it. And when I say some of these fucking sales are ridiculous, I mean, they are fucking ridiculous. You'd be almost insane not to make a move on at least one of these damn titles, man. But yeah, gonna talk about that. And then, my excitement for Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3, man. I'm so hype. Literally, one more day. And we have Kefla. We have a completely new game. I'm calling it, a 1.5 version of it. Some people are even calling it, Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. But yeah, it's damn near there. There's so many things added. There are some disappointments though, man, that I, recently just discovered on one of my favorite characters in the game. Gonna talk a little bit about that. And yeah, man, let's fucking begin. Let me first start off saying that I am recording now on my original microphone. And, it was just an experiment that I did last episode that I was trying to do with the new MacBook that I got. And, the $22 mic that I had just for experimental purposes. I was trying to see how it would go if I had to travel or if I had to somehow have an emergency, needed an emergency kind of setup. And, it did what it needed to do for that. And like I said, didn't cost me around $300 for everything. And, I got the laptop refurbished, got the microphone on Amazon for like I said, $21. And that's a done deal, man. Happy with the results. Pretty happy with the results. I mean, it's not. I could have did some extra editing, maybe some tweaking and twerking, and got it to sound a little bit better. But I'm under strict time constraints for a lot of things that I'm doing. I got so many things going on right now, guys. So many things coming. So I just been busy, man. It doesn't seem like it's enough time in the day. But anyway, back to the original format. I am recording this now on the Mac PC. I guess I'll go back to that eventually, maybe. But yeah, man, I'm back. Anyway, let's see. What do I want to start with? I kind of want to start with just a quick run over of Street Fighter 5. Now, if you guys listened to me previously, last few weeks or whatever, I was talking about really getting back into my fighting game roots, which is my second favorite genre of video game, So, right now, on my list, I have Dragon Ball FighterZ, of course. I have Street Fighter 5 and Soul Calibur 6. Those are my main three, and those are the ones I'm going to continue to try to stay focused on. Now, the issue, with Street Fighter 5 is the fact that their netcode is just notoriously, trash. It just is, man. And I don't know when they're going to get this shit together, man. They keep doing things here and there, and it's not really desirable. Hopefully when I come back to Street Fighter 5, which won't be for a while because I'm putting all of my energy into one of these games first. I don't want to spread myself too thin. I've talked about it a little bit, but when you play three different fighting games with three different kind of mechanics, man, I mean, you're going to have muscle memory problems. You know what I mean, with some of these games. So Street Fighter, if I was gonna play an alternate game, it would be Street Fighter 5 because a lot of the same inputs, are, you know, related to Dragon Ball FighterZ. They go hand in hand in a lot of the moves, the half circles, the you know the quarter circles movements and all of that. So that's what I would do. But with the netcode and shit, stuff going on right now with Street Fighter, I'm gonna let it marinate and wait until the tournament starts. Maybe they make some more adjustments. I don't know. But right now, I'm gonna put all of my energy in Dragon Ball right now. And then Soul Calibur, man, Soul Calibur is so complicated. I mean, there's so many different moves for each character, man. So I definitely want to tackle that when I'm fully committed to that game. Like, I want to jump in there and kind of just let everything hang, let my digital nuts hang, if you will, on that game alone. So it'll be a while, but definitely, guys, be looking out for a lot, and I mean a lot of Dragon Ball Fighter footage on the channel. A lot of content, man. I'm going balls deep. I'm getting it in. It's about to go down. I'm excited, man. I'm fresh. I feel like I just need to be awakened again. I haven't played fighters in a while because, a lot of reasons, season 3 coming out, and I didn't want to start playing it until that came out because I wouldn't be ready for the changes and all of that. So when the changes come, which is the beginning, I'll be acclimated to all of that, and then I can get into some gangster shit. So the Street Fighter 5 fiasco, going on now, I just put that on the back burner, and it'll be what it'll be, and I'll return to that later because Capcom is notorious when it comes to certain titles, Street Fighter being one of them. They're notorious for bringing out the warm butter, already liquefied and ready to use on us as victims, as gamers, as players. You know what I mean? That's one game that I don't understand because Capcom is a beautiful company at times. Majority of the time they are. I mean, you got all these, remakes coming out, the Resident Evil 2s and 3s coming out, which I love. And, they're synonymous with a lot of great things as well. One of my favorite RPGs, I've spoken on this before, that they come out with. But then they do shit like, the Street Fighter thing, which is one of their biggest, mainstays out here in these digital streets. And I don't understand why they can't find a way to get this netcode, make it better. Why would I have to play somebody? I'm in Dallas, right? Why would I have to play somebody in Tibet? You know what I mean? Why don't you match me up with somebody at least in the States? You know what I mean? And it's just like the way that their shit works, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know what I mean? The frames, all of the shit that happens, that goes on in these fights, man, it's almost like it's an unfair fight. I feel like I'm playing Mortal Kombat and I'm playing in those fucking, those gimmick fucking matches. You know what I mean? Like, beat your opponent with a glitchy internet connection and shit like that. So yeah, the warm butter is definitely out on the table, and I'm telling you right now, I'm putting the lid on it. I'm putting the lid on it right now. Okay, you're not pulling that out on me. So until you guys clean that up a little bit, I won't be playing Street Fighter. Be focusing all on Dragon Ball. But anyway, back to the lecture at hand. I want to talk about some of these game sales, man. There's a lot of dope game sales going on right now. You guys should definitely take part in it. I'm going to list some names of some games, and to be honest with you, there's a lot more that could have been listed, but this is just what I decided to put down and give you guys a taste of. To be honest with you, man, there's one game in this list. There's one fucking game in this list that, I literally could not believe the price I was looking at. And before I finish and start this list, you have until March 3rd. So you still have a little time. You still have about, 10 days, maybe, something like that. No, maybe even less than that, maybe a week. You got maybe about a week left. And you got to make some moves, man, if you want to get some of these sales. Now, me personally, I used to be on that digital kick really, 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 really hard. But then I started, focusing back on the physical media because of the state that the gaming industry is in and it's headed in. I just like to have a lot of things that I would be able to play no matter when, no matter what's going on and the situation may be. And, it could be a time where we don't have internet. Who knows, man? It could be a hiatus in that, and then what do you turn to when that happens? If you want to play offline or if something's going on, there's games that you still want to turn to and play. So that's my reason for trying to stay on the digital side. I mean, not on the digital, I'm sorry, on the physical side. But there are some things you just can't resist. And, those are the ones that you focus on when you are able to play online or digital only, And a lot of these games you can still, play if you download them to your hard drive. That's why I bought, 2 different external hard drives for those type of things as well. So you can still technically play them offline. You're just running it off of your external hard drive. You still have the data, on your hard drive. But then you have the risk of maybe your hard drive flatlining or something like that. Those things could always happen. You just never know. So, physical over everything. But if you have to play digital, this is what you should be looking at, guys, right now. This is what's out here in these video game streets. And I'm speaking for Sony guys only. I know nothing about what's going on with the Xbox. There's one sale that is going on for the Xbox store as well. I think it's the same as Sony, and you guys definitely want to check this game out. Before I get to that game though, let's talk about some others on this fucking list. And a lot of these it's going under some sort of name, and then they're calling it, PlayStation Store Big in Japan sale. Now these are the majority of the games that I'm going to be listing on this, and then there's other ones too as well that are coming up, and a lot of these are up to 70% off, man. And Sony does this a lot. I'm not sure how often, Microsoft does this, but Sony does this. It seems like they do it every couple months. Like they come out with shit, and they have special sales and all of that to get these digital games out of here. Okay, let's begin. One of the games that I haven't even had a chance to play yet, but is looking mighty delicious right now is Kingdom Hearts all-in-one package. So I'm just assuming here that you get the Kingdom Hearts and you get all of the DLC, and that's listed at $29.99. Now, you want to talk about Neo, the original Neo, not Neo 2, of course, because I don't even think that's out yet. But Neo 1, the complete edition, that's $19.50. Not bad at all. You know what I mean? If you had PlayStation Plus, then you could get it free. A couple months ago they were giving that out, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Also, we have Nier Automata, which is definitely a classic in its own right. I have that game, love that fucking game. You talk about a game with so many goddamn endings, it's ridiculous. But that game right now is listed, and it's called, actually, it's a special edition. It's called Nier Automata Game of the Year, or actually Game of the Yorha edition, and that is $19.99. Then you have Metal Gear Solid 5, guys, which is also another classic, awesome fucking game. And that game is only fucking $4.99. You can't fucking beat that. You can't. You want hours and hours and hours of adventuring and fucking sneak, washing motherfuckers, man. This is a game you should definitely play, man. Always good to go back and play this one. $5. That's it. Okay. Another game let's talk about is the Digimon story. That's $15, $14.99, man. Can't beat that. Resident Evil 7 with all the fucking DLC, $24.99. So all the Resident Evil fans out there who haven't had the game or maybe rented it or something, you could pick that up. Definitely awesome. Man, Shenmue 3. Shenmue 3 is only $35.99. That's a pretty good fucking deal, man. The game didn't come out too long ago, so I definitely jump on that boat. Now, here's a couple of games right here that, I personally, want to gush over, ghoul over, whatever you want to fucking say. Resident Evil Revelations Deluxe Edition. Now, this is the only Resident Evil game that I hadn't had the opportunity to play. I was trying to get it for the Switch, but I didn't have enough memory because I think it was like 20 something gigs, man. And I didn't want to take up all that space on my card, my memory card on my Nintendo DS. So, not DS, I'm sorry, my Nintendo Switch. So I, opt out on the game. But now, they have it for $12 and they have the deluxe edition here on the fucking PlayStation. I think I'm gonna have to make that move, guys. I really, really do. I really want to play this one. I love Resident Evil, the franchise, so, it is what it is. But yeah, that's out there for you guys who, want to play something a little old school, not too old school, but it still holds up graphically to this day. It's a dope game. It's more of an action, packed a lot of different weapons and shit, type of Resident Evil game. And I like to switch up sometimes from time to time. Sometimes you want a different kind of flavor in the Resident Evil universe. And this is definitely something you would enjoy if you tried it out, if you haven't played it. Only $12. Now let's move on to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. One of my favorite RPGs to this day. I mean, I've put so many fucking hours in that game and still haven't scratched the surface of, finishing it. I've done so many things in that game. And eventually when I go back to it, I'm going to, fall in that fucking rabbit hole again and get lost for hours and hours and hours and hours, man. But yes, this game here, you get the fucking deluxe edition for only $20. You can't beat that. I can't wait to call my homie because he's been trying to get on this game. And he's been trying to get it at a discount. And I think this is going to be the one to push him over the edge and grab it. And he needs to. Anybody who has not played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, man, you're doing yourself a great disservice, especially if you're an RPG player, if you're an open world RPG player, and you want to explore and just get lost in the ambiance and just go out there and do your fucking thing, man, in those digital streets. This is the game for you. I promise you guys, this is the game. This is not like the original, Assassin's Creed games prior to this, man. I mean, I love the direction they take with this game and the one before that because they're making it a actual RPG now. This is the shit that, I think pushed it to where it's at now. It's a very popular game. Lots and lots of people love this game, still play this game. And it's a perfect game to play, when you're offline or when you just want something to play and you want to get into some shit. But they also have so many features, so many things that you can do that I didn't even have a chance to, approach yet. I mean, they have things like, you can create your own stories now, and your own scenarios, and then you can upload and have other people play them. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do in this game. So many things, man. And I can't wait to eventually get back to it. It's just so much going on now, and I have to put my energy in one basket when it comes to some of these titles. But definitely don't miss out on Assassin's Creed Odyssey if you haven't played it, guys. I promise you will not be disappointed. And last but not fucking least on this goddamn list, is a game that I remember when putting hours and hours and hours. And this is one of the only games, guys, that me personally, as far as a service, a game as a service, playing it online only, this game is one of the only ones I'd play. I had so many great memories on the first one, and I'm talking about The Division 2. The Division 2 is fucking only $2.99, $3 right now, guys. If you don't buy this game, if you're into shooters of any sort, of any kind, then you have to play this game. You have to pay this $3 and get this game. Okay? You have to. And I mean, it's perfect because you can get a couple of friends. Everybody's got $3. Jump in here, download the game, get into a squad, man, and get out here in these digital streets, man, and start acting a donkey. It's a dope game. I can't wait to play it. I only play it with friends. But the cool thing about The Division 2 is that they added a lot of dope shit as far as if you want to play solo. So if you want to level up solo and get some things out here solo, there's a lot of different modes that you can go into and you can play solo as well. So just in case your schedules are mismatched, and that happens all the time, especially if you're an adult and you're trying to play, everybody's got families, everybody got things that they have to do, in their day-to-day life. So you're not going to always get a chance to link up with your boys and, get into some shit together. So there's going to be times where, I can't get on until later, but I'll be on whatever. Well, while I'm waiting for you, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do some damage, and I'm going to get these weapons and some of these things that I've been trying to find. And you can do that now. That's the beauty of The Division 2. And like I said, I haven't got a chance to experience the whole game. I remember playing like the demo, or they had like a beta or some sort I played, and I enjoyed my time with it, so once I get back into the game, I link up with some friends who most of them have this one. We can probably, definitely have some dope moments. I'm looking forward to those, and you guys should too. For $3, you're not losing. You're only winning. Even if you play the game and you're not really liking it, you're only out $3. And like I said, I can almost guarantee you guys that you will be definitely satisfied, especially for a $3 game. You can't beat this game. There's a lot of customization in there too. If you remember the first game, there's more of that in this one. So nobody's character is going to look the same. And, that's the awesome part about it as well. So there's lots of different gear cosmetically and, gun wise and weapon wise. So yeah, man, I'd advise anybody to pay this $3 before March 3rd and get out there in those fucking Division streets. All right, that's the games. Those are the ones that we have now. Last but not fucking least, what I want to talk about, guys, is this fucking recent chapter of Dragon Ball Super, chapter 57. Okay. I love Dragon Ball. Let me first out by saying I love Dragon Ball. If you guys listen to this podcast, you know this. If you look at, the artwork for the podcast, you know this. Dragon Ball is, the reason why I wanted to start this podcast. Dragon Ball's in video games, man. And Dragon Ball is what got me into, anime as a whole. It's the reason why anime is so big in my life and will always and forever be that. And I personally, believe that, look, all the bitching and moaning that you're going to hear me do in a minute is, how am I trying to say this? It's just me venting, as a fan. It's almost like one of those things that if you, didn't love her, then you wouldn't be so upset with her or him. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like one of those type of things. I don't want anybody to think I'm ungrateful or anything like that, because I am. I'm grateful for the series. I'm grateful for Toriyama. I love Toriyama. Even though I disagree with a lot of things that he's done, it's his shit. You know what I mean? It's his creations. These characters are his. If he never came up with these characters, man, we wouldn't be talking about this now. This podcast would probably not be here. I wouldn't be staring at all of these collectibles on my fucking shelf right now. So if it never existed, then why are we having this conversation? So I want to say that before I get started on this chapter, because there are some bright spots in this chapter, but there are also some fucking hellacious things, man, that I just my mind cannot calculate right now. And this is what we're about to do. We're about to get into it, but okay, let's just start. Man. Okay. First of all, let's start with Krillin. All right. Let me just give you a basic rundown of the story. Right now, it's getting crucial. Moro has basically sent his henchmen down to Earth, and right now everybody's going up against his henchmen. He's trying to see how they're holding up against the Z Fighters and all of that. And the Z Fighters are doing their thing. They're pretty much washing all of the competition, so to speak. All right. I think I talked a little bit about how Piccolo and Gohan, ended up washing 7-3, which was, in my opinion, one of the dopest characters in this arc, compared to, right behind Moro. Basically, what I was trying to say was that, and where the fuck was I? What was I fucking talking about? Okay, I was talking about how, Moro's henchmen are pretty much being mopped up out here in these Dragon Ball streets. And, Gohan and Piccolo, doing their thug thizzle out here and doing what they needed to do. And everything was going all well. Even fucking Krillin. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. The story with fucking Krillin and what's going on with him. And look, I'm not a Krillin hater. I respect, Krillin as a character. I really, really fucking do. But you kind of get a chance to see how, what they're trying to do, where they're going with this. Krillin is getting stronger. He's learning new techniques. If you pay close attention to the Z Fighters and what's going on, man, it's they've basically cherry picked Krillin, above everybody else. But even Yamcha, they bring him back, which I thought was awesome to bring him back and have him grow his hair back out and actually start training again. And out there, he was actually putting in work as well. But the thing that got me is, Tien, they just don't. I always bitch about Tien, man, and I will always have his back. I will always, I'm not gonna just let them just do him any old kind of way, man, and without saying something about it. I'm upset about that, and I can't deny that. Okay, Krillin ends up fighting a character named Umba. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's like a chubby kind of dude. He's hard to penetrate. He's pretty quick. But anyway, they get into a battle, and Tien ends up beating him not Tien, Krillin ends up, doing telekinesis with his, I guess he learned how to do telekinesis with his Destructo disc. In other words, basically what I'm trying to say is he's learning things and they're wanting us to see that, Krillin is still growing as a fighter. Okay. And which is all good. It is. But there comes a time where we get into the segment where Tien and Chaozu are fighting this robot. Okay. And Tien goes to hit him as hard as he can in his body. And he's like, I can't penetrate him. He actually hurt his hand trying to do it that way. And the only way they beat this guy, this is basically kind of like a knockoff from Universe 6 in that tournament they had, where the robot, the only way he could be beaten is if he was insulted. So basically what happened was Chaozu, they were telling Tien, look, we have to insult this guy, this robot, to break him down and beat him. I guess it fucks up the mainframe or something. I don't know. And Tien was basically had a problem, coming with insults. He could not insult the robot to, I guess, decapacitate him. I mean, he couldn't do anything to this robot. And Chaozu ends up insulting the robot the right way, I guess, and the robot ended up just falling over and dropping dead, basically. And I thought that portion of this chapter was so fucking ridiculous. So fucking ridiculous. I just cannot understand why you would write that type of thing for that character, man. Okay? First of all, it's almost as if they have shown no growth as far as Tien is concerned in his abilities. Okay? But Krillin is growing all the time. Okay? When we first started, before the Tournament of Power even began, I mean, Krillin had learned the Solar Flare 100 times, Solar Flare, whatever, a souped up version of Tien's move, by the way. Okay? Something that Tien brought to the table, something that was his. He originated it. Okay? And then when you go to fucking Tien, you go to his shit. Okay, yeah, he has his own school and he's a master at his school, which I thought was dope. But what has Tien learned since then? Okay, one of the only characters in the Dragon Ball universe who has never stopped training, who has always lived his life for the martial arts, right? What has he learned? Then you make him pull out an old ass technique, the Four Witch technique, which he pulled out in fucking Dragon Ball when Goku was a fucking child. Okay, that's the last time you saw this being done. You saw this move being used. And then he still gets fucking washed by a hypnotized Master Roshi, who, by the way, ended up getting washed in Dragon Ball. Okay, ended up not being able to compete with Tien back then. Okay, when Tien was a young man, basically a teenager. So my question is, what the fuck is going on here? It's just so many different mismatched scenarios, so many different plot holes when it comes to Tien that I'm seeing, or favoritism, if you want to call it that. I don't understand it. I don't, and I just thought that whole thing with that robot thing, that was just so gay. That just was not cool, man. And I don't know how to word it any other way. I don't. I just like, what are you guys fucking doing? What are you doing, man? You know what I mean? Let's find out what he has learned. There's so many things they could do. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, in my opinion. I think what happened. Okay, I think that when they wrote Tien at the very beginning in Dragon Ball, I think Toriyama fucking made his ass too OP, and basically was like, shit, this motherfucker's too wet. He's too fucking OP, and we have to bring him down a notch. The only way you can do that is just not bring up other techniques that he's used before. You know what I mean? Because that third eye, I mean, that shit was a powerful, powerful part of his skill set. And they showed it that one time. And ever since then, they never used it or never spoke of it again. Like they were purposely trying to, sweep it under the rug. They was like, yo, they basically gave him a Sharingan. They said, look, with this fucking eye, you can basically observe things. And with that eye, you can definitely, absolutely pick up what you've seen with that eye. Okay. It took them, weeks, months of training. It took Master Roshi years to learn how to do the Kamehameha, right? Guess what? Tien did it in literally seconds after seeing it. After seeing it demonstrated, he basically said, "Oh, I know how to do that shit now. All right, because of my eye." And then boom, that's it. You never see that fucking technique again. Okay, then we can talk about the multi-form technique, and which was also Tien's. We can talk about Tien being one of the first ones to actually be able to levitate, float, fly, whatever. You know what I mean? We can talk about all of these things. Okay, the solar flare being his own thing. I just, I don't know, man. I mean, when I think about that, I just like nobody's talking about it because to most people, Tien is just a side character, and that's it. And then you have people talking about, who's the best, who's the strongest warrior. I mean, in my opinion, Tien is the strongest human. Tien is that guy. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm smoking scrolls. Tell me I'm drinking extremely, extremely too much fucking sake. Tell me something. But please don't tell me. Please don't tell me you disagree, man. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but this is what's taking place. This is what's going on in this chapter, and that's the part that I really, really didn't like. Okay, that was my gripe with that part of it. Okay, and you also have Master Roshi, out here fighting these women. Okay, these women prisoners or whatever, and he's using his blindfold because he doesn't want to see the fineness. He doesn't want to see the ass, the titties. He doesn't want to do all that. So that's his weakness. So he's fighting them blindfolded, and that's how he tends to deal with these opponents. Now I thought that was pretty cool. Some people thought it was a little corny, a little whatever. But thinking that maybe Roshi should learn to master that, but everybody still has things to work on. Nobody's 110% perfect, and I guess Master Roshi's always known out here in these Dragon Ball streets as that perv, you know what I mean? So, it makes sense in a sense for him to have to do that. And I thought that was pretty cool, just my opinion. What else we got here? Okay. Towards the end, we have, Moro touching down. We have him, finally landing. He's understood that, his characters, his henchmen, if you will, can't get the job done. So he's not scared. He's not shook. He doesn't even care. So what he ends up fucking doing is giving one of his henchmen some of his power. Kind of like how back in the day in the Frieza saga, how, Frieza was about to die and was begging Goku for mercy, and Goku gave Frieza some of his Zenkai, some of his energy, and Frieza just couldn't resist, had to use it to try to take out, Goku, and it went terribly wrong. But anyway, this is what he's doing to this henchman of his, who was a weak character. He couldn't hang with anybody really, none of the Z fighters. But then when he gave him this energy, okay, this motherfucker got souped up to perfection. Okay, it was like he's a new fucking person, brand new. So much to the point where 17, Gohan, and Piccolo could not constrain him, could not contain this motherfucker, okay? And this is what I'm like, yo, this is what I have issue with. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What kind of gap of power are you guys trying to show us that is taking place right now? That he just gives this guy some of his energy and he's already a problem. You mean to tell me that Piccolo, 17, and Gohan couldn't hold this guy? Like, how powerful must Moro fucking be? This dude is fucking ridiculous. And then it brings me to this. How fucking more powerful did Goku get? And how more powerful did Vegeta get? Because keep in mind, Vegeta has not landed yet. Vegeta's still training, still out there. And this is the part that I kind of like. This is the part that's really intriguing me. Okay. Usually it's the other way around. Okay. Goku is the guy that's not there yet, who's running late. He hasn't returned. And that is, that is different. Now, you guys know I'm a Tien Shinhan fan, but you also know that Vegeta, I'm a huge Vegeta fan. Vegeta is my favorite character of all time in Dragon Ball. Tien is right there behind him, okay? And then Frieza's the third. But I don't talk about Vegeta a lot in that sense because, he's getting what he deserves. He's getting his shine. I used to bitch about it a little bit, of him chasing Goku and all that, but now they're finally starting to give him his just due, and I appreciate that aspect of it. But I still have to call out the boo-boo, And I still have to call out, Toriyama and those guys maybe trying to go to the corner store and grab some butter and maybe, sneak it past me and slide it into that microwave. I can't allow that. I cannot let that happen. You're not going to catch me with that, guys. I won't let it happen. But this aspect intrigues me because Vegeta, I mean, we got a taste of it in the prior chapter, of how strong he was to the point where he didn't even realize how strong he was. Okay, he didn't even fucking know. He's basically like, what the fuck? He did some shit on some accidental fluke type shit, and he emitted so much fucking power, and it didn't even feel like he exerted anything. So that let me know, yo, this is getting ridiculous. I'm very anxious to see what Vegeta's doing on Yard Rat and what he's learned, and where he's going as a fighter, because they're now starting to kind of veer away from each other as far as Goku compared to Vegeta and what they can do. Vegeta's finally decided, I'm not following this motherfucker anymore. I'm doing everything my way, and I'm going to get strong the way I want to. Because if you look back at history, that's the way that he's always progressed the best. When he became Super Saiyan, he just gave up. He didn't give a fuck anymore. And that's how he turned Super Saiyan. So when he decides to go into his own path and train his way and do the things he wants to do, he develops his own style and swag that way, as opposed to Goku doing it his way. And I think that's a beautiful part of the transition when we're talking about, where Dragon Balls come from and where we are now. There's still flawed shit, though. There's still shit going on out here that needs to be called out. And that's what I'm talking about. I bring up the Tien shit because I know he's just a side character, guys. I know this, but at the same time, you need to spread the shit evenly. Okay, you got Yamcha coming back, doing his thing. You got Krillin mopping up people, okay? And you got fucking, Chaozu finally got him a win. Okay, I'm happy for Chaozu. Give him his little win. Cool. Because, but you can't just do Tien like this, man. He's better than that. He's done things in the history of Dragon Ball that, he saved people. He saved Gohan. He saved, he's bought time for other characters to try to make things happen. He's a fearless character, a serious character, a character who I love dearly, because he always is that guy that, look, no matter what happens, no matter how weak I am, I'm going to continue to train to better myself as a martial artist. That's his way of life. So, excuse me if I went off the rails a little bit, but that's just how I feel. I'm passionate about him as a character. And, you have to look out for all of the kiddos, man. You can't just, you worry about one or two. All of them have to be, all of them have to be protected, if you will. But the premise of, what's going on here, my other gripe with this arc, and really just as a whole, as far as where we're going into the future with Dragon Ball Super, with one character in particular, and I'm talking about Gohan, man, they really aren't trying to do shit with Gohan. They just really aren't. I guess all the Gohan fans should just say fuck it and just, put their feet up. And how I feel about Tien, I know there's a lot of people out there who feel just that passionate about Gohan, because, man, he fell from grace. I mean, Jesus Christ. He should be up there with Vegeta, with Goku. I'm so serious, man. Dude should have at least another transformation up his fucking sleeve somewhere. But no, it's not happening. And I don't understand it, man. Why they're doing him like that. And I don't see where it's going. Like, he needs to be like, the minute he decided to get serious, he should be damn near nipping at the heels of Vegeta and Goku. I know he took a long hiatus, with the family and all that, but then when he decided to get back in there, he's still a Saiyan. He still got Saiyan blood running through his veins. He should be taking advantage of that. They should be, it's hard to look at that way, because all everybody's saying is, damn, we're all looking at the Cell Saga. We're all like, yo, this motherfucker was a teenager, damn near a baby, mopping up Cell and doing all this other shit, outclassing everybody, all his contemporaries. And now we stand here, and Gohan is struggling with help from Piccolo, with help from 17, on this fucking henchman that Moro gave just 2 teaspoons of his fucking power to. And this is what we're dealing with now. So I'm just at a crossroads with Gohan. I am, and I don't know how to I don't know what to say about it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I think I'll cut the rope and leave it at that. as far as what's going on in this chapter. That's the basic premise of what's been happening in this final chapter. It's about to come to a head. Like I said, Moro's Finchmen are done pretty much, except for this guy he gave his energy to. So now I'm going to sit back and wonder how these guys are going to take him out. It's almost like they're just child's play to him. He's waiting for Goku. He's waiting for Vegeta to touch down and really, see what they've done with what they've learned or whatever. So I think going forward, though, they need to figure out something with Gohan. They need to go, put down the sake, put down the scrolls, make sure there's no drugs involved, take the cocaine off the table. All of this when they go into their next meeting and discuss like the future of Gohan as a character, because he's a Saiyan and it's like he's just a watered down character now. It is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. So this could be the end of Gohan, man, for the foreseeable future. I mean, it really could be. And I don't know how it could when you have a Gohan who is serious now, who wants to train, who wants to be the best he can be, as he did back in the day during the Cell Saga, So, the mystic form, all of that. I just let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But it's not going to be this arc. I can tell you that right now. So I think we all know that. So I guess we need to put our efforts and thoughts into the future when it comes to Gohan next time, because he needs a new transformation now. It's time. It's time. It needs to be done. Oh, man. Okay, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted after this, talking about this shit, man. I think that's going to do it for the show. I think I exerted all of my energy talking about these characters, man. But it was a good talk. I feel a little bit better now. I feel a little bit more relaxed after getting all this stress up off of me. And look, great things to look forward to, guys. Dragon Ball FighterZ Season 3, I can't wait. And, seeing how this manga is going to go in, and hopefully getting some more news on the new Dragon Ball movie, or, the future of Dragon Ball Super, as we know it. Is, as far as the animation is concerned. I really, 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 really hope that they take this manga that's going on right now and animate it and make it, put it out here for us to consume. I think they will. They're known to do that. So maybe they just want to get done with it before they start, and that way they won't catch up to the actual manga. And yeah, man, I'll leave it at that. If you guys have any comments or want to talk about anything, any subjects you're interested in, all you got to do is holler at me on social media. Very easy to grab, very easy to get a hold of. You can go to Twitter at StudioMguyvR. You can go on Instagram at StudioMguyvR79. You can even check out the YouTube channel, Studio MacGyver TV. Oh, don't forget the fucking Facebook as well, at Studio MacGyver as well, man. And if you want to get some merch, if you're into nerd culture, you got to be if you're listening to this podcast, and you want, hats, shirts, some dope beanies, backpacks, all of that, you can definitely check out Beautiful Nerds. That's www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled Nurdz. Check them out, guys. They're doing big things. They have new things uploaded every fucking month, so definitely check these guys out. And yeah, man, with that being said, I'm going to get my ass up out of here. There's a lot of noise going on now. People are starting to wake up. It's early in the morning. So I got to go back and edit this fucking podcast. With that being said, guys, I want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're listening, if you're streaming, whatever you're doing, thank you for taking time out of your day or schedule to listen to me talk and bitch and moan about these things, man. I appreciate all of you guys. I love you dearly. And that's it. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.